great to welcome you here this evening. Members of the European Parliament, other representatives from the EU institutions and the Commission, as well as permanent representatives that are here.
The point of the study is to demonstrate the value that the hospitality sector delivers to the European economy, but also to provide a basis for a debate around the policy issues that could help stimulate growth in the sector and the wider economy.
The results of the Ernst & Young study speak for themselves. Despite their size and vulnerability to economic and political context, the sector employs 10.2 million people altogether.
What these reports repeatedly show, in addition to the fact that beer is a key contributor both to GDP and to government tax revenues, is that the health of the brewing sector is tied closely to the health of the hospitality sector. The bars, cafes, pubs, restaurants and hotels across Europe are a major route to market for the estimated 40,000 different beer brands in Europe. Indeed, 3/4 of the 2 million jobs generated by beer in Europe are to be found in the hospitality sector.
But the hospitality sector has continued to create jobs in a tough environment since the downturn. The key factors that we've highlighted in our report that would impact the sector are anything that affects pricing, because it is very price-sensitive demand, anything that affects employment costs. Employment cost is the major cost in the sector, so anything that affects that will have a key impact.
So the hospitality sector is paying 125 billion euro to the government. That's approximately the European budget.
We have learned tonight just how much the hospitality sector does contribute to the European economy, and how much a thriving hospitality sector can do for potential EU jobs creation and growth. And that we really want to make sure that that is understood and that other businesses understand that they will benefit from this as well in other sectors, and that brewing is a part of that as well.
As the study showed, the hospitality sector has an extensive supply chain, has a lot of downstream impact, because beer is brewed and then it's sold and served in many bars and restaurants. So we heard that the sector accounts for 4% of GDP, but for 8% of employment in Europe, and that's quite a significant difference. So it's really a job-intensive sector, and that makes it a very important one, of course, especially today during a severe employment crisis.
Well, I hope we did get the message across in the report that this is a very important sector for providing youth jobs, for those starter jobs, and also for jobs for those who are returning to the workplace or who've been struggling to find a job. This is traditionally the sector that provides those jobs, and therefore stimulating more jobs in the sector is really going to help those groups. The multiplier effect is very strong. When you think about it, the hospitality sector reaches back into the economy right the way through to agriculture, and it includes everything all the way through there. So the whole of the manufacturing operation around food and drink is feeding into that, the distribution related to that as well, plus all the other elements that feed into hospitality.
The report gives a lot of new information for me, which is important for working on job creation in Europe. Yeah? So I'm really happy that I was here.
Well, as a policymaker, I think the more I see of this, the more I realise that the decisions we have to be looked at extremely carefully. We often make decisions without almost judging the long-term consequences, and this is the sort of policy which they've gone to great detail. It's an excellent report.
We need to be very aware of every impact that we have in any changes in revenue raises, any taxes that we're looking at, or excise duties that we're going to put back out. The impact that's going to have at a point in time when we're asking people to create jobs and make growth real. So we've got to be very conscious of what we're doing as policymakers and people making those decisions.
Well, we've seen some tax changes that undoubtedly have made life tougher for the sector. We've also seen tax changes in other countries that actually encourage the sector, where we've expanded a range of low VAT rates or actually reduced rates.
I hope we've all learned a lot from this report tonight. 1 in 13 jobs created in the EU is in the hospitality sector. It's massive. We've learned tonight that over half the people that are employed in the hospitality sector are under the age of 35. And that's young people we need to get in employment and keep in employment. So we absolutely need to listen to the hospitality sector, give them recognition for the contribution they're making, and create the conditions for them to keep growing and really give us that job creation we so desperately need.